Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome into the channel. My name is Brent with Investing on the Go. Today, we are going to be continuing our series of No 8 to 5 living from our brokerage using Robinhood. This is going to be week 29 update. We're going to go through here as quick as we can. We have the market update dividends that paid out this week, our buys and sells. We did sell a put option. We'll go ahead and cover that using Fidelity. Then we'll dive into our updated dividend portfolio income breakdown, jump into our both dividend and margin journals updated for the week, and then we'll take a look at finally the Robinhood dashboard and Fidelity, what's kind of going on those platforms. This will be fairly quickly on our weekly recap, so if there's anything you'd like to see in the future, definitely drop it down in the comment section below. Just say hello, or if you do have a question, drop it in there, and also join the Discord server. It's completely free. With that said, if you guys are brand new here, definitely smash that subscribe, smash that thumbs up, and let's go ahead and get into the market update quickly. Again, if you guys are not yet following me over on Instagram, it is Brent.investing. Also on Facebook, I post there every single day as far as what's going on with the updates. But the most recent update we saw over the weekend, there was 2 U.S. soldiers that were killed over in Jordan because of the retaliation from Iran retaliating on the U.S. attacking them. They had continued additional strikes on military bases, and 2 service members were killed over in Jordan, I believe it was, yep. And that Iran has publicly came out saying that the peace deal is officially over, saying that, they can't trust any sort of agreement. Trump's signature is essentially worthless. The Kuwait oil sector has been attacked. We did see repeated attacks over the weekend again, and some of the smoke was visible from space. U.S. has carried out its 8th continuous strike overnight. More than 50,000 troops are overseas deployed across the Middle East. So we'll see how this continues to play out, but it is beginning to escalate, as has been previously kind of discussed, that we do think it's going to head that way. In terms of the actual market itself, we take a look at the last 5 days. Friday, last week, everything kind of ended on a high note last Friday. On Monday, the market began to kind of pull back, and this was kind of expected with the leading into the war, and we did see airstrikes continuing. And Monday, it started the downtrend, and we all thought, hey, this is it. We're going to fall and we're going to go back into that downtrend, but it did do a solid bounce here at 747.94 and then begin climbing higher into Tuesday, and then Wednesday essentially topped off here at a high of 755.55, which actually beat out Friday's end of day close. So we did have a higher high on Wednesday, but continued uncertainty, oil prices beginning to elevate. From Wednesday on into the end of week, the market just continued to sell off. And on open Friday, from the Thursday close, we did see a pop above the 748 support on Thursday close, and then closed here at 751.01 on Thursday. It opened up Friday extremely low, putting us back into the downtrend that we had been kind of in previously. If we take a look at the 1 month here, it started about a month ago, back on June 26th. We've been on a bit of a downtrend, and we did try and break it here a bit early on back in July the 6th. Didn't quite break out of it. We fell back in. We recently broke out of it for this week, but here we are back into the downtrend. So it seems the market has been kind of shaking off much of what is going on in terms of the news overseas. So right now, as of close on Friday, we did see S&P 500 close at 743.21. It did come down on Wednesday. Not this Wednesday, right? Yeah, it wasn't this Wednesday. It was prior's week Wednesday. Was down at 740 before bouncing. So I do believe we'll either hit right around 740 this week, or if we do end up breaking below 740, we should retract all the way down to around 732 or so. I don't see us somehow, what's coming out this week? We have Tesla earnings this week. We have Google earnings this week, and I know we have a few others out there, but those are the 2 that I'm kind of watching because part of the Mag 7. So those earnings are going to be coming out. We did see already Netflix of the Mag 7. I'm not sure where they closed there on Thursday. They may have closed at the high, and then we see at the lowest point there on open, they were down nearly 13%. So we'll see if next week, if Google and Tesla kind of fall into the same boat. I know the following week after that, we have Meta, Microsoft, Apple, and I believe Amazon. So it'll be earning. Interesting. Yeah, we can see here they did beat on their earnings, but their revenue missed slightly on that. So that's a quick market update. Now let's jump into the dividend payouts. We did already cover some of the dividends that were paid out this week, but this is our weekly recap. I like to kind of recap everything that took place within the week for this video. So we did have TAP Alpha, ticker symbol TDAC, payout based on our 6,351 shares at 39 cents per share. They paid out $2,477.02. I took this capital, I let it hit that account, pay down the margin. I haven't reinvested any of this just yet. I do believe with the market kind of coming down a bit, I have dollar cost averaged my normal $250 into the market, which we kind of discussed in the earlier video this week. But beyond that amount, I haven't invested anything more. I have continued to redeem my cashback, my cashback points from my Robinhood Gold card into my account. So every day that I'm doing some sort of, use of my credit card, I'll go into the app and redeem the amount. So 754, 132, 467, 376, 417, $1.14. It doesn't matter the amount. I just redeem it. The more that I redeem the cash from the points over at Robinhood Gold, it just works on paying down the margin and keeping it down on a daily interest portion. So that is our quick dividends, nothing crazy there. Now our buys and sells. Buys and sells this week, we did have continuation of buys and sells. Yeah, we already kind of discussed, we purchased 9 shares of TDAC earlier this week at $247. We picked them up around 57, 52, I believe. We'll take a look at the prices here in just a minute. But in addition to that, I did also do some other things over at Fidelity for the first time. We did open up a put position on Thursday. I opened up a put. So market was coming down here on Friday, on Thursday, and I had a pretty good wall at 747, 748. And I didn't believe that this week the market would sell off below the 748. So on Thursday, I did go ahead and open up a position as a put, that's 748. And we can see here on Friday, obviously we dropped below that 748 right off the bat from open, and then continued below that 748 threshold point. I did end up getting $131.34 of premium. And then as Friday was coming to a close, I also liquidated out of my 33 shares of SPY as well. We did go ahead and take profit on that. We ended up in the green still, and then the market continued to sell off a bit. We'll go ahead and cover where we ended up selling and how much we made in profit. And then over the weekend, because our put option expired on Friday and we were assigned those shares, throughout the weekend, we were assigned those 100 shares for $74,800 of SPY. We can see right in here, we acquired 100 shares at a price of $748 in the amount of $74,800. So those are some of the additional sells and buys that took place during the week here. Now, the next area here, the buys and sells that we did within the Fidelity account didn't really affect our dividend portfolio and income breakdown, but it does kind of showcase our prior buys this week. So earlier this week on the 13th, again, we picked up TDAC, we picked up 9 shares. Our income increased by $3.44 on a monthly basis, or we times that 344 by 12, and that gives us roughly an increase yearly of $41.26. Our portfolio has continued to come down a bit here. We're down around 1.98 from pressure from the NASDAQ and the S&P falling this week, right? From, we were about 1% from all-time highs there on Wednesday, within less than 1%. And then going into Thursday and Friday, the market quickly sold off. I believe the S&P 500 is down probably 2 to 3% from all-time highs. Whereas on the NASDAQ, I believe it's a little bit more. So let's go ahead and take a quick snap here. So we'll say this is the all-time high, and we'll come down to price that right now in SPY. So it's down around 2.27 on the S&P 500. And if we take a look at the NASDAQ here, we'll go ahead and snap that. and it's down around 7% from all-time highs. So Nasdaq is definitely beat up quite a bit more than the S&P 500, and that's just because semiconductors have been getting beat on the last 2 weeks. We've also seen some of the Mag 7 underperform and pull back quite a bit. Financials have done well, but tech in general over the last few weeks has been, pulling back quite a bit. And we are beginning to see that within our portfolio with T-SPY. It's still net positive in here, but TDEC is now down 3.4. We did see gold. Gold's been down quite a while now. Bitcoin's been down quite a while. And then our leverage ones here, XQQQI, which is leveraged, is down 6.38%, and XFI is down 1.26. These right here are so tiny in their positions, right? We only invested roughly $257 in XQQQI and $246 in XSPY. This is probably a good time to begin adding a bit more maybe into these positions because they are down 6% here in XQQQI. When they do recover, they could recover very nicely, but I don't think we're done just yet. But it could be a good time to begin adding more shares to that position just because of how small it is. Adding another $257, an example, would nullify half of the losses that it's taken place, right? We just dollar cost average it down. Okay, so that is the weekly dividend portfolio income breakdown. I guess we didn't cover the income, but estimated right now, as of close on Friday, this portfolio is generating about $6,200 a month. So $6,197.66 is the lower average of our range. And then multiply that by 12, that gives us our annual income of around $74,371.97. And obviously, we're not using all of this capital that we're getting paid out to cover our, monthly expenses, etc. A good portion of this gets reinvested back in buying up more shares, dollar cost averaging, such as now when the market pulls back from those highs, a good amount. We look for opportunity out there and dollar cost average. Okay, so diving now into our dividend and margin journal. So this is updated as of now. I did have an issue last week where it wasn't fully tracking the amount of dividends that was getting paid out, but it is now working. So we can see here, July, if we were to highlight all of this, we can see here we have a sum of $4,531.69 that we've been paid out this month so far, and that matches the amount here in our area of $4,531. Now, we do have 3 dividends that have not paid out just yet. We have BTCI, IWMI, and IAUI, which we're expected to pay out in this upcoming week. So that is all looking on point. Our total dividends so far in 2026 now is $31,182.53. On an average monthly basis, this is roughly $5,197.09, or our daily cash flow just for waking up every day. That's just about $155.91 just for waking up every day so far in 2026. So that is our dividend journal. Okay, next up, we're going to be taking a look at a combination of Robinhood Live and the margin journal. So popping over into the margin journal, right off the bat here, our 12 through 18 July is officially behind us. Our portfolio value is sitting at $346,777. So we pop over to Robinhood, $346,777.03. So matches up perfect. I want to, this is cemented in there now. Our margin use, you can see here prior going into this week, our margin use was $132,564.97. Now, it is now a brand new week, and our margin has came down to $130,313. We take a look at Robinhood, and we take a look here at the margin. We can see that our margin use is $130,313.03. So this matches right there. So our net change from last week going into this week, we've lowered our margin use by $2,251.94. Now, why didn't we lower it more? We had those dividends of $247.02 that were paid out to our account. We also cashed 6 days last week. I went into my Robinhood Gold and redeemed the points back for cash 6 times. That accumulated to $22.60. That right there would have lowered our margin by $2,499. But I did do a purchase last week. Again, I like to make about $250 of purchases every single week. So we dollar cost average in the TDAC, and that's why we didn't get that full $24.99. Instead, we lowered our margin by $22.51, which is still good, right? Our margin use, since we started using margin back on the 14th, we had invested about $135,719, and we've dropped that amount down by about $5,400 since that time. And we could go back through and begin amping up. Now that the market's pulled back a bit, I could reinvest, say, $5,000 if I wanted to kind of bump up my margin use back up to that time, which is what I've been doing. I've been looking for opportunity. Right now, I was sticking with my normal dollar cost average plan on a week by week basis. But if the market pulled back, then I would begin to amp up my my buys, my buying opportunities. So this is the current amount going into this week right now. Everything across the board is zero right now. We haven't done any buys this week because it's Sunday. No dividends have rolled in. No cash has rolled in. No cash has gone out. There's been no margin interest, but I do believe that this week we're due to pay down some margin interest. So that's something that I'm looking to pay this week. The market really hasn't gone anywhere in quite a while. So our portfolio is maintaining a healthy buffer here on the Robinhood platform. Now, let's jump over to Fidelity. Fidelity has been getting some work now. So if we take a look at our positions, we did sell out of our 33 shares of SPY, but we did have that put option. So that put option went in through here. Let's go ahead and take a look at our activity, and this will be just a bit better in here. So here we funded our account. We had $108,000 that we funded this account with back on the 6th of July. We did end up buying around 33 shares of SPY, and then we sold a put option this Thursday. We made $131.34 from SPY. We also sold out of SPY on Friday, and we can see here, if we take a look here at the, these all got chunked into one queue. So SPY, we liquidated here at $743.98. And if we take a look here at SPY right now, that's $743.29. And I do believe going into this upcoming week, we'll probably continue to move lower. Now that we're in this trend, we'll probably come down in, we'll hit 740 and potentially bounce. On Monday, what I'm looking for is, because I have 100 shares of SPY that were assigned to me. So here's my assign at 748. I will take these 100 shares of SPY and I'm going to sell a call option. I'll sell my call option on Monday when the market opens. I'm going to look for that bounce near 748, sell my call option for $748, maybe 749 or so. We'll take a look at it when that opens up and takes place. I'll sell my call option for the maximum premium. I do believe that we're going to pull back during the week and remain in this area either between 747 and 740, or if we do end up losing our support, we'll move down lower into the, I don't know if we'll go down into the 720s in this upcoming week, but I do think, if we do lose that 740, we'll definitely fall into the 730 to $737 range and, continue in that downtrend. That's kind of the plan with these shares in here. And we take a look. I've updated my journal. So my journal kind of tracks everything. I'm beginning to track my cash deposits in here. So I made a cash deposit of $108,704.88. I want to maintain my equity and keep as much of my equity positive as I can. So here we picked up SPY and we picked up TDAC. That's that TDAC purchase that we did earlier this week. It's down about 4.04%, but it had an ex-dividend. So it's down more closer to 3% this week. We did also have a sell. So there's our sell. And we did make $125.18 of profit based on our sell. So here we bought at $24.99. We sold at $25.124. It's gone down an additional 0.09% since when we sold, but we locked in $125.18 of profit. Here's our sell to open. So we sold a put option, one put option at 131. It netted us $131 of premium. And here is our options being assigned to us right here. SPY 100 shares at 748. And we did, because if you do the 748 and subtract that $1.31 per put option, for the put option, $1.31 per share on 100 shares, that puts our net price at 746.69. If I'm able to get out of this position above 746.69 because of that premium that I was able to acquire from that put option. But as I said on Monday, when the market opens up, I'm looking for a bit of a bounce close to 748. I'll sell a call option at 748 or 748.50 and then net that high premium with a expiration on Friday. And if the market does do any sort of recovery beyond 748, which I don't believe it will, I'll still net a very high amount of premium early on Monday. And then, hopefully it'll expire worthless by the end of Friday. And I'll just kind of keep my shares here and maintain the stock and collect the premium along the way. But we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. It'll be an interesting week regardless of what kind of takes place. That's kind of the plan going into this week. So that is going to be it for this video. In terms of our total net this week, we made about $256.18. That's from the sell of our prior SPY and then that sell to open, that put option that we sold. So that's it for this week. That is everything we wanted to cover in the weekly recap. If there's anything you guys may have wanted to know more, definitely let me know down in the comments section below. Hopefully the video wasn't too long, but I know there's a lot of information that we go through on these weekly videos. I'd like to eventually break them up on a daily basis kind of video style thing, but that requires more time. So guys, that is going to be it for today's video. Again, if you're not yet subscribed, definitely go down below, smash that subscribe, smash that thumbs up, and drop me a comment. Could be anything. How are you guys doing this prior week? Are you guys looking forward to buying anything yourselves or selling anything? Let me know down in the comment section below. Okay, have a good one. Bye-bye.